So when we're in the catalog, and if we go to copy categories, and this is probably what most of you are going to be doing because from what Tamara has told me, you're going to have to do some editing to some of these categories. You can view the list of everything that's in a category. So I can do that by clicking view, and then it will bring up the list of all of the items in the category. When I was playing around today, I know Paul out in Eastlake had contacted me about this, and so I had ran him a report and I put it into Excel of the categories he was working with so that he could play around with it, and I can show you how to run those types of reports in a minute. But I did also find that you can sort by date here within your category, because Tamara said that you have to get rid of everything like more than 5 years old, right?
Medical.
In the medical categories. So yeah. If I sort by date, now it's got my most recent on top. I can click show all, and then it will show everything, and then I can go here, and if I click show more, it will allow me to delete the copies. So if there's multiple copies, I could remove all of the copies from the category. Now it won't delete the copies from the system, and just deletes them from this category. So this would be one way to remove all of them.
Okay, could you, I click.
So you click show more, so it'll show you how many copies are in the category.
In the view list that I'm looking at of the category.
Right.
Then each record.
So it'll show you each big record, and then you have to show copies in this category to see each individual item that's showing up.
Oh,
and then you can remove them one by one, or you can remove all.
Now, I'm sorry, now that removes it from where I had put it in like the medical category, so yes. Now my medical categories are all clean from the you know, they all from the 5-year and older ones are all gone from there, but they're still in the system.
Right. Yes.
I need to put them someplace else. I can't move them to a different category automatically? Or would it be that I have to add that new category of medical history to every record first?
So, if you want to do things in bulk, and this catalog is just really not made to
well, that's just it.
Do
it's
this
a bulk.
Kind of
it's
stuff.
A bulk problem.
So if you don't have a huge amount, like I said, I know Paul was doing a lot of weeding as he did this. So when I ran him the Excel list, that was nice for him because then he was just going in and he was purging things from the system. So I would maybe look at doing that first. You know, what are you going to just totally get rid of so that you don't have to worry about it anymore, because it's not very easy to move things around in here.
Yeah.
So once you have your items, and I like to click show all so that it's all on one page, you can add it to a list. So in your My Info tab, you have an option to create resource lists. So you can create a list for whatever you want. So I can create, let's say I want to add a list, and I'm going to do this research paper lists. So now, when I go back into my catalog and I'm looking at my copy categories, I can go in here and, you know, maybe you want to say 5 years plus is this list. So I can add whatever I want to the list. You can add the entire page to the list if you want, and then let's do that once. I don't know if it's easier to play with things when they're in a list. Okay, so then I could do this. I could sort by date, and then I could go, okay, so maybe this is going to be my historical list. I want to remove, and I can start removing the items that are current so that I don't have to worry about it. And then once I get to the older things, now I can save these and I can import them into the new list. So I go to
now,
catalog.
The older items, do you really want to keep them though, considering they're medical, and medical you always need to have more current stuff?
That would be up to you guys.
It was to delete them.
Yeah, that would be up to you guys. Probably you're going to delete most of them, which is why I think that doing that first is going to be your best bet. And I know Paul, one of his things was he was just going to purge all the stuff, even if he didn't get it off the shelf, so he could do the electronic editing and then worry about getting them off the shelf later.
Oh, all right, okay.
So once you've done that, you can So now I've got my list, and I know it's all of the old stuff that I want to use to create this new historical category. Then I can go here and I can add items to the category. So I can add it by list. So you can either do it by barcode list. So if you have a list of barcodes and you just want to pop the barcodes in one by one and do a data entry dump, you can. Or I can go and I can do it by list. So now I can take that whatever list I created and I can populate my category using that list. And that's really the best way to get things in bulk.
Okay.
So now that category has just those items. So unfortunately, because it is so hard to edit things once they're in a category, my suggestion would be you may want to pull out your list twice, do the things you want to keep, import it into a new, blow away everything in that copy category and re-import it and recreate it, I think is going to be the best way to do it. So I would export your items to lists and then blow away the categories and recreate them. Does that make sense?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now maybe
Seems like a
5
lot
minutes,
of
I don't
work.
know.
But
Well, because the other option is you have to go in and you have to edit items one by one. So instead of editing items one by one, I think if you just kind of recreate the lists using this process, like add the entire category to a list, which will let you edit it a little easier, then you can delete everything that's in the current category and re-import just what you want to keep.
Hey, Mary.
Yeah.
Hi, it's Paul.
Mm-hmm.
I ran into some time crunch, and so I couldn't do as much. I had to do some quick and dirty.
Mm-hmm.
So I ended up going item by item. I got a barcodes list, and I just entered my barcodes and pulled up each record, and I changed the copy categories, and I moved all of the things. This is probably really horrible, and I'm ashamed, so don't judge me, but I did it. I moved everything that was old that I knew was not. What I'm trying to say is I moved several things into the medical historical collection and deleted them from the alt and the alt BA and the nursing.
And that's fine, and then you can deal with them later. Punished for the sins of your predecessors for some of this stuff.
Mary, could you please go through it again? You went to My Info and you created a list, and then you dumped everything that was older in that list, and then you exported it.
Right.
That one.
Okay, so when you go into My Info, you have that option along the left to go to your resource list. And I think you can have as many of these as you want. So you could finagle it however it works for you. So let's say I want to do MA. So I'm going to take all of my MA items and I'm going to put them in this list. So I want to go into the catalog then once I've created the list, and then I'm going to go to my medical assisting, show all, and then I'm going to take this entire category and I'm going to add this whole page to my MA list. So now it's all in that list. Now when I go back to My Info, I can go ahead and I can find my list and view it. And now I'm going to say sort by date. Okay, so now I've got it all sorted by date, and I want to, again, we're going to show all. So we're doing good. We've got current stuff, current. So this is all stuff I want to keep in this list for sure. And now I'm getting down to like 2009. So now I'm looking at stuff that I'm probably going to want to get rid of. So I'm going to start deleting all these. So I'm going to remove them. And remember, this is just removing it from my list. It's not doing anything in the catalog yet. So I'm going to start removing these items from the list. Oh good, it's going to make me scroll down every time.
Start at the bottom and go up.
Every time it's going to bump you back up to the top.
Oh,
So you can go through and you can remove all of the items. That's why, again, it would make more sense to purge everything you want to purge before you do something like this, because that'll just give you less data to work with. So, if you go in here and you see, at the bottom, we've got some older stuff like 1980s, you know, that stuff can probably just get dumped.
Now, purge from the MA list, but not purge from the catalog. You still have to purge from the catalog later.
Well, what I would do is I would purge from the catalog first. So run your list however you want to do it. Like I said, I can show you how to run a list that you can export to Excel, so you have better opportunities to manipulate the data. And then I would purge them from the catalog entirely, withdraw everything that you don't need anymore, so that it's not an issue when you're doing this, because it's harder. The more records you have, the harder it is to deal with.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So get rid of everything you're going to trash first, and then go, ideally, if you have the time for that. And like I said, I know I called Paul out a little bit. Like he said, you said you were gonna purge him from the system, but not necessarily pull him from the shelf, just for interest of doing the records, which is understandable. Just keep track of what you purge so that you can eventually pull it from the shelf when you do have time. And
I had
then,
a student go through with green stickies and put them on each volume.
mm-hmm.
So we can shelf read and pull them.
Well, you know, and even when I was in a time pitch, sometimes what I would do is I would pull the books and I would literally tear the barcode out and trash the books, and then just have somebody go through and scan barcodes quick. So, you know, there's, you can figure out what's going to work for you. I understand, I'm not doing the librarian position technically anymore, but I did, and I know what it's like. So, you know, I'm not going to judge anybody for, you know, doing what you need to do to get the reports done when they need to get done, and then cleaning up later. But the key is we got to make sure that we're at some point getting things cleaned up so that we have decent catalog records. Okay, so once we go through and we remove everything we want to remove, then I can go back to the category list. And so what you might need to do is you probably would want to export it twice. Once to create your current MA list, and then once to use to populate your historical list. So once you pull it out and you're ready to go in here, you can go in here and you could either just delete the whole category, or, okay, I guess there isn't a good way to delete everything. So I'd probably just blow the whole category away and then recreate it, because it's pretty easy to trash a category. So let me go and I'm not going to mess with the catalog. So the one I created, I can just delete it. Do I want to do it? It's got all those, yes, I want to delete that whole category. Now it's all gone. Then you could recreate it and import the good items in.
From the MA list, right?
Right.
In the resource list? Yeah.
Right. So then when I go in here, I could go whatever you're going to call it, and then save, and then where did it go? Down here. And then I would go and I would add by list, MA, click OK, and now I added all those items in.
So basically what they're doing is creating the MA list and the resource, adding the page from the category. Once it's all in the resource list, you can blow out the category and then
Repopulate it.
name a new one. Yeah, repopulate. Name a new one, MA list, and then just repopulate it from the resource list.
Yep.
Okay, got it.
I think if I come up with an easier way, but I think having done this for a while now, I think this is going to be the easiest way to do it.
Yeah, I know.
Unfortunately.
No, too many options here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, what you were showing is local, right?
Yes.
It's just here.
Yes. So I'm currently in the Milwaukee campus catalog working. So this should look just like it would.
I don't want to blow anyone else's categories out of the water.
You can't. I'm the only one who can do that. So, the other thing that I've noticed is sometimes people, when you're creating patrons, there's a lot of people have been making people the library administrator, because I think that sounds like that's the title we should have. When you are in there, you want to be the administrator, because you lose a couple of rights when you're just the library administrator. It's a lower level than regular administrator. So if you find that you're not able to do something you think you should be able to do, let me know and I can go in and I can edit it, because you probably have made yourself just a library administrator instead of the actual administrator. And if you don't have somebody else on your campus who's the actual administrator and can fix it, then I have to fix it. Okay, anything else, or you want to look at reports a little bit?